Hi, good morning. It is Saturday. Welcome to a new weekly vlog. This week, we are doing books that I received from Little Free Library. So, currently, I'm on my way to a book club meeting because I got together with some girls and we are meeting to talk about the Knock 'Em Out series. So, the goal is to read the first one, which I did, which is Things We Never Got Over. If you want to see my full review of Things We Never Got Over, I read it about 2 or 3 vlogs ago. If you want my full, I go into it. I go into it because I thoroughly enjoyed the book. Highly recommend if you haven't read it already. And I haven't read 2 or 3 yet. So the goal was number 1 before going to the meeting today. So I got all dressed up. I've got a cute little floral dress if you saw it in the clips before. I'll see if I can get a video of the full fit later. But I'm off to it. And then for this week, we are going to be reading Little Free Library books, or books that I got. Well, when I say Little Free Library books, I mean books that I got from Little Free Libraries. If you would like to see that vlog of me getting the books, I did that a number of months ago. Back in November, I think. Anyway, I went Little Free Library hunting months ago, but I haven't picked up any of the books yet. So that's what we're gonna do this week. We're gonna start picking up the books, and we're gonna see how far I get, whether or not I do like a 2-parter, just because of the fact that I have 7 books that I picked up from Little Free Libraries. So I have never read 7 books in a week, so I know we're not gonna get through them all. Depending on how many we get through this week will determine if I do a part 2 to this or not. So after I get home from book club, we're gonna edit last week's vlog. Of course, we gotta edit last week's vlog. We gotta get that taken care of. And then, as always, what's new? But then the first book that we are gonna pick up this week is The Crooked Branch by Jeanine Cummings. The Crooked Branch tells the story of pretty much generations and family secrets through generations. And when I read the synopsis, I can't pronounce the mother's name. I will link it up here. I don't know if it's a Spanish pronunciation or if it's something else, but like I see Magella, but I don't know if it's a Spanish pronunciation to be Maela. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna call her M, probably most of my reading experience, just for the sake of my brain and getting through the book. So M's tired after having a baby, and then M ends up finding the diary of an ancestor by the name of Ginny. And in this diary there's a story about murder in the diary. And so I think we're gonna get like a 2-parter from M's and Ginny, just because of the timeline. Ginny fled Ireland to America and is calling herself a killer, and M's just concerned about her being a bad mother. And so, but of course she loves her baby. I mean, she loves her baby and she wants to be a good mother, but she wants to make sure that she's not fated to be a bad one based off of the history that she's learning in her family. And so she learns through this whole journey, she's learning a lot about her family, and her history. And through this story, we're going to learn about the family story, we're going to learn about Ginny, we're going to learn about M, and M's going to learn a lot about herself. And so I'm very, very excited to pick this up. The book was released back in 2013, I believe. It's just when I get free little library books, I do like seeing when the book itself was released. So yes, this was copyrighted back in 2013. So the book itself is 11 years old, and it's just, when I find it interesting, just the kind of books that you find in little free libraries. And so, because they come from, like, who knows how old they may be. And so this sounded interesting, so I grabbed it out of a library. And so we are then going to read it once I have finished everything else. So let's get to book club, and I will catch back up with you all later.
Oh, I think I've heard that. The music video for it is insane. Really? It's just her in the movie, like doing.
Alrighty guys, I have come home. I have changed just because in something a little more comfortable, and book club went great. And so now we're gonna get to editing last week's vlog, getting it good to go, and then we are going to jump into the Crooked Branch. So I finished editing my vlog first thing this morning for last week, but the funny thing was that, well, I can laugh about it now, because for the last like 2-ish weeks I've been having storage issues, and for the life of me I couldn't figure it out. I finally figured it out today. I had a lot of like background files that had accumulated, and I was getting rid of them and realized in the process that I accidentally deleted the background files for the vlog I just finished for next week. So I then had to spend another 2 hours re-editing the entire thing. So I did that this morning, but luckily I got it. My disk is now mostly empty, except for the necessary things that stuck around. But I got rid of the excess that I managed to find. I got it edited back down. Started at about 1 hour and 40 minutes. Got it down to 1 hour 2. And then I recently scheduled that, so that's uploading now. And so now we're spending the rest of the evening reading The Crooked Branch. And like, I'm only at chapter 3, page 42. Not that far in, but I'm very excited to see where it keeps going. And there's just something very satisfying. It's a floppy book, and something about it makes me happy. So I got in because I had to exchange my mouse pad because I did not like the one that I had gotten first, and so I had gotten a new one, and it came in today, and it's so cute, guys. Like, look at this. And of course, like, it's an axolotl. I mean, come on, that's the cutest thing ever. It's adorable. So it's very cute, and I got me a new wrist rest for my keyboard, so it's really cute seeing the mouse on the axolotl. It's just so cute. So that's what I've been up to today. So we're gonna get back to reading. Morning. Today is Monday. Today I have some errands. I don't have errands. I have appointments to attend to today. One is I'm actually getting ready to head to appointment number 1, and then I've got a small break before an appointment this afternoon. And so I, of course, have The Crooked Branch on me to read in the waiting rooms as well as in between. And currently right now it's a little underwhelming. I'm on page 133. I'm in the middle of what chapter am I in? 8, I think. Oof. Chapter 7. I'm in the middle of chapter 7, and so right now it's like each chapter we switch perspective. We'll have a chapter from Majella's perspective, and then we'll have one from Ginny's perspective. Ginny's timeline is back in the 1840s, I think, because she's got to die. So I realize I'm jumping back and forth. So we're pretty much getting 2 timelines, and the reason we're doing so is because Magella ends up Majella's going through some rough times after having the baby, and she's concerned that she's going crazy, and she's trying to keep her mind at ease, and so she's going through her attic and ends up finding a diary of this ancestor by the name of Ginny Doyle, and she started reading and realized that Ginny may have been experiencing some of the same things that Magella is now experiencing. And so Majella's going through therapy, trying to figure out everything trying to figure out what's normal and what's not, because of course, like, the adjustment to motherhood can be rough, especially when it's your first child. And so, but even 133 pages in, the closest we've got to the overlap in like information is just the fact that Magella has started to read the diary. But other than that, there's not really much of a connection, and so I'm a little underwhelmed, but I still want to give it a good shot, at least get halfway through before I really consider like stopping the read, you know, just because right now I'm not thoroughly entertained. It's not an entertaining book, but I'm not thoroughly encapsulated by the story, you know, even 130 pages in. And so I'm hoping that things will start coming together and provide a little more interest for me. But other than that, like right now it's just kind of like, nah, it is what it is. But I want to give it a little, because like I said, there's not really much information right now. It's like even 130 pages in, I'm like, just like, I got nothing. So I'm going to get to my appointments, keep reading, and we will see how this progresses. Afternoon all. It's 4 o'clock. Let me turn this down a little bit. Good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock. I am on my way home from the appointments for today. I got, I think, another 2 chapters. I'm on page 178, 179, chapter 10, and it's like we're learning more about the moms, but at the same time, I'm waiting for when the 2 timelines like cross over, in the sense of we know why we're learning about these 2 characters, because I'm not learning it yet, and it's starting to bug me. But I really want to give this a good go, and so I feel like I'm like halfway through the book, and I'm like, how am I almost halfway through, maybe? Anyway, like I'm right there along the halfway mark, but I'm like, I feel like I have not learned anything of necessity in this first half, which is becoming a real bummer. But I'm gonna give it at least the rest of today to see A, how much further I can get today, and B, is it worth it to finish, or is it just gonna have to be a DNF and I move on? We'll see. But I'm also absolutely exhausted and afraid that I'm gonna fall asleep if I go back to reading. So part of me also wants to sit down and film, because I gotta film my mid-year wrap up, my mid-year book tag. I've been wanting to film this thing for 2 weeks, and I haven't gotten to it yet. And then of course today is July 1st, and so I want to film my June wrap up, and I'm going back and forth on if I want to film those today or just film them later in the week. But that's where I'm at. We'll see what happens, because honestly, like the rest of the afternoon is kind of up in the air. It's like, am I just gonna read, or am I gonna stop, maybe film at least maybe one of the videos? I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Good evening, all. So this morning was very productive. I finished, well, I didn't finish, but I edited my mid-year book tag. That was so much fun to film and then edit. So that's up to schedule later this week, which for you guys it will be last week once you see this. And I finished The Crooked Branch. I finished The Crooked Branch this morning. Yeah, it was not no. Personally, I rated it a 1 star. I didn't quite care for it, but I've also never experienced motherhood. I've never been a mother. I've never been pregnant. I've never been any of the stuff. So I didn't really relate to it. And when all was said and done, I felt like it was, I don't know. I just didn't like it, but that's okay. If you do have experienced motherhood, or you've had a rough time with motherhood and it's getting used to the transition and you can relate to it a little more, then I can see it being like of more interest. So I finished that and I'm getting ready to start Killer Smile by Lisa Scottoline. This is going to be my next read and I'm very excited. This one is FBI related. I'm trying to skim over this. I didn't get anything from that synopsis, or at least just in skimming it, so I'm kind of excited to go into it like blindly. But there's like FBI and lawyers related, so I'm very excited to see what we're working with. Okay. So our main character, Mary, is a lawyer, and she takes on a pro bono case in where there was a father who committed suicide, and then 60 years later, the son's estate hires Mary to sue for reparations. So, I guess we've got a case gone cold, and so now she's coming back to help with the case. So, I'm excited to see what it's all about. Good evening, guys. So, I've read 2 chapters of Killer Smile so far. We have our premise. We have our main character looking for information on our main file, but we don't have too much information yet. But honestly, I'm kind of falling asleep, so I'm gonna catch up on some YouTube before I go to bed, and then we'll pick this up tomorrow. See you then. Hey all, today is Wednesday. It's midday. I am currently reading Killer Smile by Lisa Scottoline, and I'm currently at chapter 15, page 102, and we're getting through the setup. We've learned about the case. We've learned how little she actually has on the case, but she has such a heart for the case. And so we've also had some like things that are like, oh, is this really happening? Oh, there's been some like things that she's unsure about. She's being followed. Her office has gotten torn apart. And so we're starting to get a little bit of like the drama within the case, which is nice that finally started picking up, because I was starting to get a little worried. I feel like I have like such high hopes for these little library books, but at the same time, I'm like, they're random books that I found that seem to have piqued an interest in me. So I want to give it a good go before I just set it aside. So right now, Mary's just trying to get a level head, keep a level head, and while everything gets sorted out at home, she's now traveled to the camp where our case guy, what's his name? Amadio spent time in this camp back before this is the camp where he died. And so she's currently checking that place out and trying to learn more about him while he was at this camp. So let's read. Mary just visited a gravesite, and she's hearing voices, and it's becoming very interesting, very, very curious as to what's going to come of this case. Good morning. Today is July 4th. Happy Independence Day. And so I ended up getting up really early this morning, and I've already been up for like 2 hours. I woke up at like 6:30. I had also been I think I'm dealing with a migraine, and it was going on for like all day yesterday. And so I was slowly getting through Killer Smile. So now I'm about 31% of the way through. I'm on page 141, chapter 21. And so now we're at the point, I'm glad we're finally starting to get some like twists and like whodunit and drama, and it's starting to become more interesting, which makes me excited to continue. I spent the last hour watching a vlog, and so now I'm finally awake enough to start reading. So let's continue. We're at a turning point in the story. I think we've got another like whodunit moment of like, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen? So I'm excited to continue. Hopefully I can get a good chunk done today, because of course my plan is to finish this by the end of the week. Of course, by the end of the vlog is my plan to finish this, so let's get to it. All right, guys, it's later in the day, and I'm currently at chapter 38, page 258. It's getting good. I'm enjoying it. Mary is quick-witted and smart about 80% of the time. But it's becoming very interesting, and I'm becoming more excited to see how it all ends. And so I've been reading this. I've got to the point that I can like just binge the rest of it, just because it started getting that good. It's looking like a solid, by the end it's going to be like a solid 3-star at least. I was getting concerned up here at the front, but no, it's getting really good. A lot of stuff's going on. It's also giving me like a whole vibe of like, tell me you're in a mafia without telling me you're in a mafia. I feel like there's a lot of crap going on. So let's see how this goes. Alrighty, guys, I have finished Killer Smile by Lisa Scottoline. I'll tell you this, it wasn't the mafia. But all of it tied up in a nice little bow. And it was good. It's going to be a 3-star rating from me. It became more entertaining as it went on. And I became very invested. It's like, how is this all going to end up? And it was great because there were so many points in this book that is kind of like how... It's like there was so much going on. That's why I thought it was like mafia related. But it was just, I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it if you want to read it, but yeah, it was a nice little read. I do think that, because as I go through these books, any one that I don't want to keep, I'm just going to donate back to a little library. And I do think that I'm going to donate that back to a little library. It was good, but it's not one that I like want to hold on to, you know? And that's okay. So this will get donated back to a library. The Crooked Branch will be donated to a little library. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to read a third one in this vlog, or if I'm better off cutting it off now, because I only have today's Thursday. In all honesty, between tonight and tomorrow, I don't think I'm gonna get a whole nother book read. So you know what, we're gonna close out the vlog here, and we're gonna make this kind of a little series. Maybe it'll probably end up being, I'm thinking, 3-ish episodes. We'll see. But thank you for watching our first episode of Read Little Free Library Books with me. And if you liked the video, please give it a like. Please comment your thoughts if you like the idea of me continuing to do this. And if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And I love seeing my channel grow with the content that I produce for you guys. And it's just, it's been fantastic, and I love finding new ways to bring you guys content. So have a wonderful week, and I will see y'all in the next video.